The revolution will not be televised. It will not be live-streamed, monetized, and algorithmically curated with sponsored ads for crypto startups. The revolution will not be brought to you by big tech in a seamless 4K livestream. The revolution will not be televised. That was a nod to Gil Scott-Heron, whose iconic anthem was designed to provoke listeners to realize that true change will not be brought by corporations, but rather through a change in one's mind and real-life actions. Scott's call to action is as relevant now as it was then, because true progress is something our new techno-feudal overlords fear. Those who sit atop the algorithms, control the platforms, and hoard our data will stop at nothing to ensure we stay indoors, isolated and divided, so they can continue to profit from our loneliness and lack of civic engagement. Through manipulation, surveillance, and digital chokeholds, Big Tech has built a system designed not to crush dissent outright, but to distract, divide, and distort until their cronies have total power and democracy fades into irrelevance. So, who are these wannabe overlords, and why do they want to wield such immense power over our lives? Today, I will explore these emerging forms of technocratic rule, a movement that some call techno-feudalism. I will introduce the conceptual architects of this digital age of control, dissect their ideologies and their goals while considering what their nihilistic agendas might pose for the future of our societies, our freedoms, democracy, and the idea that we are all equal under the rule of law. In doing so, we will contemplate the possibility that the new technocracy isn't some distant dystopian fiction. We will suspend belief for a moment and consider that this dystopian future is now. We don't have to go far to find the template for an unfolding techno-dystopia, as the blueprint for this new world order is right in front of our noses. Many members of the tech elite that have so suddenly been thrust into the political spotlight have been ideologically transfixed by a terrifying set of ideas that revolve around the Dark Enlightenment philosophy. If we follow these ideas to their logical end, we land in a terrifyingly dark neo-feudalist future. The Dark Enlightenment is a movement that began with the ideas of Curtis Yarvin, also known as Mencius Moldbug. This intellectual architect of the Dark Enlightenment is said to inspire some of the most powerful people on the planet. Peter Thiel, a tech billionaire, has championed these elite-driven governance concepts and has backed figures like J.D. Vance. Balaji Srinivasan is another key figure who has promoted the creation of decentralized network states, aligning with the movement's rejection of traditional democracy. Yarvin has set out the Dark Enlightenment ideology through a series of essays where he advocates for the rejection of modern democracy and a return to hierarchical, authoritarian forms of governance, such as monarchy or corporate-controlled states. If the wannabe tech feudalists follow the Dark Enlightenment ideas to their logical end, algorithms will rewrite our reality, corporations shape our choices, and our freedom will fade because the tech lords don't trust us to vote wisely. The collapse of democracy will creep up on us. It won't go out with a bang, but with the lulling soft glow of a screen. This is the world Orwell warned us about with 1984 and the dystopia Huxley imagined in Brave New World. Let's explore a future where the ideas of the Dark Enlightenment autocrats shape our society and consider how many fragments of that future could already be here. Imagine an open-air prison. The bars of the prison are invisible, crafted from data points, lines of code, and are now as essential to life as the air we breathe. Now imagine you are there, being watched, measured, and manipulated in your open-air algo prison. The new feudal overlords have monopolized water and oxygen, and we pay for these necessities with the data of our offspring. Suddenly, the quaint anxieties of the past are a distant memory. It's 2035, and our former concerns about CCTV cameras and government surveillance are remembered as the good old days. Now, we willingly surrender our privacy for the convenience of a smart device or a personalized shopping experience under the watch of the international thought police who control our lines of communication since humans stopped speaking naturally to each other in real life. Our words are filtered through our Neuralinks, and certain words are now banned as our overlords deem them extremist, divisive, or negative for social cohesion. It's 2040. We are lab rats in this global experiment. Our every click, every like, every purchase meticulously tracked and analysed. The scariest part? Most people don't even realise they're in a cage. They've been sold the illusion of freedom, of empowerment. Diversity is long gone as it was believed to be too divisive by executive order. The tech feudalists deemed debate too woke for their platforms long ago, and the supreme leader doesn't require a democratic or process and uses a self-appointed council who now decide what's best for all of us. Their qualifications for the job are measured by two things: their wealth and their loyalty to the party. Those who diverge from the party line disappear to a distant encampment and are expelled to an outsider algorithm designed by the new tech monopoly. They also don't realize they are in prison. You see, true freedom requires agency, the ability to make choices free from manipulation. It gets messy, it leads to disagreement. Democracy isn't always perfect, but it's designed so that we can all participate in governance. Today, in this brave new world, that agency is rapidly slipping away. Back to the sci-fi dystopia for a moment, where we began sleepwalking into a digital feudalism back in late 2025, when a select few started to monopolize the keys to an imagined kingdom of information. The central guru took the keys to our financial and social security data so he could map us more meticulously. And that, my friends, was where this terrifying reality began. Forget kings and queens, landed gentry and serfs. The new aristocracy deals in data, their wealth measured in terabytes and algorithms. Back in 2025, it was the tech giants, the Zuckerbergs and Musks of the world, who controlled the platforms that have become our digital town squares, our marketplaces, our very realities. Now, in 2049, their children rule over us with an iron fist as a feudal class deemed genetically superior as part of a eugenics program started under the Department of Government Efficiency. They used to preach a gospel of innovation and disruption, but now they preach a code of conformity and control. This constitution was edited to reflect an obscure nerd philosophy resembling the Dark Enlightenment. This elitist philosophy was embraced by Silicon Valley power brokers and was spread over the internet so that ordinary citizens would accept their fate. They scoff at democracy, seeing it as messy and inefficient, and champion a technocratic elite, a select few deemed worthy of ruling through data-driven algorithms. This elite even engineered an aristocracy of children they also deemed capable of ruling the masses, sending them to Mars to form sub-aristocracies. To our own detriment, we failed to question why they so desperately wanted to monopolize our mediums of communication and transform our economies. We closed our eyes and our minds, destroyed our attention span on 7-second Instagram reels, and fought Facebook fights and Twitter wars while they hijacked democracy in front of our eyes. And as the future was overtaken by AI, and the masses are dictated to by lines of code written by an unelected elite, the goals of the Dark Enlightenment were completed. This is the logical endpoint of the ideology of the new tech elites. Let us not take for granted that they do not do what they say they will. Go read the word vomit of Dark Enlightenment gurus for yourself. And remember to stay awake, stay woke even, and try to resist the temptation to slip into a digital coma. Because while the tech feudalists see themselves as benevolent shepherds, guiding us towards a brighter future, in reality, they have built a digital panopticon where dissent is silenced and conformity is the price of admission. While this chapter may have been a dramatization of the possible future that awaits if we cede power to the tech moguls who crave power, The signs of autocracy and repression are blindingly clear and are written into the Dark Enlightenment philosophy. So, as we all navigate the digital landscape and trade convenience for privacy, we must ponder the true and ultimate cost of this exchange. Throughout this video, we've explored the unsettling realities of our digital age and the dystopian ideologies that drive wannabe tech feudalists and elements of the billionaire class. From the eerie feeling that our devices are listening to us, to the targeted ads that seem to read our minds, we've realized that surveillance capitalism is here to stay. They know our hopes, fears, and desires often better than we do. They nudge us towards their desired outcomes and to keep us engaged and scrolling. They reinforce biases and push us down rabbit holes of extremism and misinformation. This isn't just about selling products. It's about the sale of democracy. The medium is the message, and today, we are under subtle patterns of control. To reclaim our minds, we must recognize this invisible prison and fight back. Put your phone down, reclaim your mind. You are not a gadget, and you are not a commodity. Know your power while you still have, and know that we are powerful beyond measure when we unite. Until next time, stay awake.